This is Cult Faction Podcast, episode 23, Escapes, Reshapes, and Desperate Scrapes.
Superman.
Hi, you're listening to Cult Faction Podcast, episode 23, Escapes, Reshapes, and Desperate Scrapes. I've drawn the short straw this week, so I've been landed with hosting duty. I'm Damien, and as ever, I am joined by
Paul Hawkins
and Brett Summers.
So, in a week full of political turmoil, let's take a nice light-hearted look at TV and film, shall we? Any takers on who wants to go first?
I was just recapping on political turmoil. It's like because I'm on holiday. Is anything going on?
London has fallen.
London has fallen.
Is Gerard Butler just there running around trying to save Boris? Yeah, is everything all right? Because all I heard is some activists had cordoned off like a couple of streets in Covent Garden or something.
I don't even know about that. I don't think.
Oh, okay. So everything's okay.
Yeah, everything's groovy, baby.
Okay,
Yes.
I can't do anything about that. And Ricky Gervais is trying to save the animals, so
No one's actually asking you to do anything about anything.
I just think, with the world as it is at the moment, if you want to make the world a better place, you need to look at yourself and make a change. And then delete your hard drive.
So I will forgo some of my some of the TV stuff as per instructed by the powers that be. However, I will mention a few of the films. So obviously last week I did explain the fact that I'm over in Ireland on holiday, limited viewing availability. I don't have the normal Netflix or Amazon channels. However,
Make it sound like they've got one TV channel over there.
well, no, it's not them.
It's
just,
RTE or nothing.
No, it's just what I have available at the moment. So I have been focusing mainly on stuff that's available on Sky. Okay, but I was quite surprised actually because I don't know how it's like slipped me by, but maybe that is because I've been, predominantly focused on Netflix and Amazon for the
And
source
Silent
of-
Witness.
No Silent Witness. No Silent Witness. To be honest with you, I've given up the ghost literally on Silent Witness.
Okay, but what have you
God
been
for that.
watching?
So the first film I want to talk about at the moment is Final Days. So this is a 2020-2021 film recently made with Tyler Posey as the main character in the film. I'll go on to explain his traits and more about the scene in a minute. But it also stars, he features in it Donald Sutherland. Okay, so I saw that and I thought, oh, Donald Sutherland's, he's still going, So Final Days is
Donald
actually
Paycheck Sutherland these days, but
yeah. So Final Days is actually a remake of a South Korean film called Alone. Now, normally you get remakes that are like 10 years later or whatever, but we all know the fact that South Korea will have a film like Train to Busan or Train to Busan 2, which the American or the Western cinema industry will be there thinking, that's a great idea. We're going to pinch that and we're going to make it our own, even though it's a direct copy. So Final
they've
Days.
done that for many years, haven't they? Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
But I watched Alone a few months ago, and this is the South Korean film, which was really, really good. And I didn't actually discuss it at the time. So Final Days basically is one guy, which is played by Tyler Posey, Posey, who is in his flat or apartment because he's American. All hell kicks off. It's basically a apocalyptic event that turns people into zombies.
Oh yeah, I've seen the trailer. I remember now. I've
Yeah.
seen the trailer for this. Yeah.
So this is him stuck in his apartment.
I'm not sure on this one. But carry on.
He can't go out the apartment, otherwise the zombies will try and kill him. Locks himself away, and obviously, he's only got limited amount of resources. He's only got limited amount of food and water. He hears that his parents have unfortunately, died. His sister he doesn't know about. He's basically locked up in his flat, and he doesn't know whether he's going to survive or he thinks I'm going to run out of food and water soon. So he's thinking, well, the end is coming. I'm going to end it on my terms. As he's doing that, I won't go into the details, but he then happens to see that across the apartment block, there just so happens to be a attractive young lady that also is alive and isn't.
To be fair, Paul, so far you haven't done anything that's not in the trailer, so I'm going to let you continue.
I know the one you're on about now.
Yeah. So the next thing.
Bizarrely on that.
The attractive neighbor is alive. This is then the story of them trying to survive across the apartment blocks, and then how do they meet up? How do they then secure food? How do they then branch out and trying to hopefully survive the zombie apocalypse? I'm not going to go into all the details, but as I would say, Donald Sutherland does appear. If you've seen the South Korean film Alone, you will absolutely know what role Donald Sutherland plays in this film, as absolutely I did as soon as I saw him in this. Is it good? Is it bad? It's okay. It's okay. The issue that I have is the South Korean take, the film Alone, had a few additional touches where the main star use things like a drone to send things or to contact the person opposite him and all this kind of good stuff. This is very much scaled back in that way, or almost in the intelligence. It's almost like they stole the script, relied on the fact that they were just bringing it into the Western market and it's going to be a whole lot better, and they had Donald Sutherland in it. And unfortunately, it wasn't as good as the South Korean original. But as I've said, if you don't have access to that South Korean original, give it a watch if there's nothing else on. It's an okay film. And I said there's been a lot worse out there, but compared to the original, it's not as good. So that's my first film choice. The second one I want to talk about is Run, Hide, Fight. Run, Hide, Fight is actually a really interesting one for me from a storyline perspective, because it's basically set, or the premises at a high school in the US, and they have some people that try to attack them, shall we say. And it's, we've all heard over the last 10-15 years of all the atrocities that go on high school out in the States, where you have a gunman, some shootings. So this is that very premise.
Does it turn out that a couple of the high school students are actually undercover police officers, like 21 Jump Street?
No, it's not like that. But it kind of,
we're out then.
It's an interesting one because it takes that kind of genre, which is often people don't want to go into from a. And don't get me wrong, it's like there's comedic scenes. It's not an all-out comedy, but there's comedic scenes. There's some tension and stuff. It's kind of a mixed genre. You can't say it's a horror. You can't say it's a thriller. You can't say it's a comedy. There's some nice touches of each. It's a bit of a mismatch of what kind of film are you trying to be? Are you trying to be a comedy? Are you trying to be a deep, dramatic film, or are you trying to be something else? And I think that's the only thing that I say that's a real negative is that because it doesn't know what it wants to be, it struggles at being any of them. So it's funny in places, it's dark in places, but as I said, it's kind of a mismatch or a mismatch of what it should be.
There is. I'm just having a look at it now. Yeah, it's got Thomas Jane in it, the Punisher, and the legendary Queen of Horror herself, Barbara Crampton. Who was in Reanimator from Beyond. I might give that a look.
I mean, as I said, it's a really good cast. They all do really sterling jobs. But as a film, I think it struggles to know what kind of film it wants to be.
Is it almost too scared to go full on into the?
Yeah, but they could have gone really dark and made him the complete psycho. They didn't do that, and that's what I'm saying. It's confusing as to what kind of film they want it to be. And it's a real shame, because if they'd have picked one of them, I think they've done a sterling job. But they've done an okay job at all of them, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
it's not scary enough to be all out there. It's not dark enough to be a cult film, and it's not funny enough to be an all-out piss take. But in amongst that, you get a decent film that's an amalgamation of all of them.
It sounds like it's a decent story, but it just hasn't been executed very well.
Yeah, as I said, it's just a bit confused. The other film that I've been watching was Chronicle 2067.
Oh, this sounds like it might be my ballpark. Chronicle 2067, yeah.
Yeah, so this was I don't know how I stumbled across it, but this plays.
Was it in the bargain bucket at Woolworths?
But you're glad you did, yeah.
As I said, I've been mainly watching Sky. So this stars Aaron Gleeman and Cody Smith McPhee, who played Richard White and Ethan White. Basically, the storyline to this is the Earth is in trouble.
That bloody Earth being in trouble again.
And the way that it's going to be saved is by apparently there's a voice from the future that basically says you need to send this guy to us over the they've managed to create some time gate, for want of a better word. So send Ethan White to the future. He's going to save the day.
Oh, that the guy that played Ethan White was Nightcrawler in the X-Men films, the young Nightcrawler. Just looking around to see what he's been in. He's done a lot.
I think I've seen the trailer for this. It started to sound familiar.
Yeah.
Is it all kind of blue light and black screens and stuff?
It feels very Land of Giants special effects.
Is it a Quid Martin production?
Yeah, this one struggles, if I'm honest, but because I think this would be a brilliant book, and it may already be a brilliant book that really struggles to make it into the film universe. They obviously have the idea that the government in this day and age is corrupt, but you can smell it a mile off. You know what's happening a mile off. Even in the future, it tries to be deep and meaningful. Almost almost wants to reveal from like Planet of the Apes. When Charlton Heston comes across the Statue of Liberty. It's looking for that kind of reveal. It doesn't get it, and so everything is drab in comparison.
Is it just a Ramsey Street sign? Damn it, you ruined it all.
That would be great. That would be great. Or Ray Meir. No. Yeah.
Yabby Creek.
Yeah. Flaming Great Glar. Even though they're American, not Australian, but yeah. It's just missing several factors to make this a good film, other than the gist of a storyline. And it's a shame, but you can't get attached. There's no emotional attachment to any of the characters, even though they try and get you involved from the kids' early upbringing, which is supposedly harsh and difficult. You just don't care. There's just nothing in there that draws you in to have any emotional attachments to any of the characters. So it just loses it. So I'd say just avoid it. as opposed to the other two, which is I'd probably recommend just giving it a watch, or the original. I find it hard to encourage anyone to watch Chronicle 2067.
Okay, we won't do that then. So, Paul, you're on holiday.
Yep.
Yeah,
With your family. Is there any more television you've watched?
Yeah, loads.
What have your family been doing?
No,
It's like they've gone out and left him at home. I'm not taking him with us.
No, but this is at night.
He's just an embarrassment. I'm leaving him home.
This is at night time when they've all gone to bed. That's what I'm saying. So there's other stuff. There's Beyond the Gates, which is
Why is Daddy not in the holiday pictures? Don't worry.
There's Beyond the Gates, which is like a Jumanji but for adults. I'm not going to go into it tonight, because to be honest with you, I found it so shockingly bad. I kind of mentally, even though I was watching it for the best part of 2 hours, my brain literally turned off. So they'd literally go and find a board game and start playing the board game, and it has horrible effects. It is Jumanji, but like with a horror spin, but without the special effects and without Robin Williams, which may be a plus or minus depending on where you're looking at it from.
And it's got Barbara Crampton in again.
yeah.
I'm just looking it up now.
But as I said, you absolutely should stay away from that one, because I literally, my mind switched off as I watched it. I wasn't doing anything else. I wasn't on the iPad. I wasn't playing. I wasn't doing anything, reading a book. I was watching this film, and my head literally turned off. It was that bad.
Oh, and it's got Graham Skipper, who played Graham in Space Clown.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a classic then.
Yeah, so stay away from Beyond the Gates.
I don't know. This looks like I might give this a watch.
Actually, I haven't already spoken about Portal yet, have I? No.
No, we've got another one.
Yeah.
Your family must love going on holiday with you.
You want more? I will give you more. So again, on one of those channels that may be on Sky.
Is it like Movies for Men or something like that?
No, it is on one of the main channels, but it's Portal. So basically, at some point in the future, lots of doors turn up, or lots of portals, surprisingly by the name, just happen to appear on Earth.
It's got Heather Langenkamp in it, who was Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street. So I'm in.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
So where do these portals go? What happens? Blah blah blah. Yeah. They are just there. There's obviously thousands of them over the Earth. So, unfortunately, and I don't want to be a downer. Some of the stuff that I've said is quite good.
That's my job.
Yeah, but this seems to be okay. They've got an idea for an overarching storyline, but then they go to make this into 3 separate mini films, as it were. So they focus on 3 different people or films or friends throughout the film. So the first part of the film, I'd say, once you're introduced to the fact that these portals have turned up, is within a high school, and it's like the normal relationships or between the popular people in the class and the unpopular people. And what happens to them over the course of 15 minutes since this portal turns up. The next bit, as I said, is another bit of the Earth where there's another portal, and it's the relationship between a husband and wife, or a girlfriend and boyfriend, and their journey into the portal and the repercussions. I'm absolutely not going to give what happens away, but that's more about them as a relationship as it is about the introduction of any sci-fi, ramifications. This is just them using the portal to realize that their relationship's not great. Let's put it that way. And then the third part is again completely different, and it's about a scientist that again is trying to talk to portal and so on. And as I said, it's 3 kind of separate stories all intertwined into one. And I think the overarching idea is okay, but that completely gets missed with the 3 different storylines. And if I'm honest, they're not particularly great. All 3 of them.
Did you actually manage to stay concentrating on the film this time?
Yeah.
Well, so it's an improvement on the previous.
But it's wishy-washy. They're not malevolent. They're not good. They're not anything.
They just are.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that's
it, is it?
Well, as I said, I haven't really watched much this week, but that's me. that's me giving the quick hour lowdown.
Okay. In that case, on that somewhat downer of a note, we'll move on to Brett. What have you been watching this week?
Okay.
Something exciting, please.
Oh yeah, no, it's all exciting. I
think we'll be the judge of that.
I finally got to the
21 Jump Street.
No. That is exciting.
Chips.
But I haven't got to that yet. No, I finished off the Bad Batch Star Wars cartoon series. I thought I'd finished it off before, but it turned out that was part 1 of the cliffhanger, final end of the season.
It keeps on giving.
So there was another one, yeah, and yeah, it made more sense to end it how they did, because I thought it was a bit grim that they ended it in that way. But makes a bit more sense now. There's a bit of hope left for the galaxy and all that. No, a really good series, ties in very well. Especially if you're a Mandalorian fan, there's a lot of Easter eggs in that for you. I've also watched The Mandalorian.
Oh.
I also watched.
You do know The Mandalorian, yeah? Yeah, and I
thought you said Amanda someone.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
I bet there is some kind of, on some cinema circle, there is probably Mandalorian. And she's like on one of them, but in a different cinema circle than we cover.
Mandalorian.
Yeah, there'll be one somewhere. Also worth mentioning is the that I caught the other day, the 1980 classic Silver Dream Racer, starring David Essex with Beau Bridges and Christina Wren, where Essex plays Nick Freeman, the talented motorcycle racer, but he lacks a decent bike. And then his brother dies, so he takes his bike that he's been developing for the last 3 years, and obviously it's like the best bike in the world ever, but it might be too dangerous. And then, he dies at the end, just as you think everything, all the hopes go up, his life's about to change, he wins the race, and then the bike blows up with him on it, and that's how it ends. Spoilers. Spoilers.
It's like Meatloaf Battle of Hell, isn't it?
But it's worth watching because Harry H. Corbett pops up, Ed Bishop pops up, and Nick Brimble pops up, who is he's just been in everything. I think he ended up being Little John in Robin and Prince of Thieves. But he also did all those safety adverts as well. You'll remember him as the man who got electrocuted for like not doing his plug properly and things like that.
Didn't Harry H. Corbett spend most of his life with his hand up City's ass? That's Harry H. Corbett, isn't it?
No, this is the one that hung around with an old man and collected rag and bones.
Steptoe son.
That was Harry Corbett. I think that's why he's got the H.
Oh, okay.
I think that's why there's an H in there. But
you funny old man.
You dirty old man. You dirty old man.
You dirty old man.
And going for a game of Scrabble. And then that would have been even better if Sooty just appeared up here. And I've finished off as well. And I know this might cross over with some other people's as well, but I got to the end of Brand New Cherry Flavour. The psychedelic from Q-Zoom. Oh, do you not like it?
No. You carry on. Don't mind me.
I was let down by the finale. I thought it was clever at what it tried to do. Did it do it well? Not sure. And I think they just maybe bottled it on some of the other things. But it was all, there were some really good episodes. And it kind of went into the folklore of whatever it was they were trying to build up in their own sort of universe, or whatever you want to call it these days.
Without giving anything away, is this the end or is it the end of a series?
No, I think that'll be the end. I don't think they shouldn't do another one.
It depends. I
They
mean, it's
get
based on a novel, isn't it? So it depends if he's
Yeah.
written any more novels of that. I mean,
Yeah.
he might have written more novels. I don't mean that, but it depends
I
if
know
he's
what you
written
mean,
any
yeah.
more novels in that series or not. But
But
for me,
it
it just didn't go anywhere, and I
Yeah.
didn't care about any. So like a bit what you mentioned earlier, Paul. You didn't give a shit about any of the characters. The Lisa, whatever her name, Lisa Novak, just
Nova.
a spoiled little
Nova.
Nova. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
whatever her name is,
Nova.
just spoiled little shit.
This one to me seemed almost like we've got a great title for a series. Not really a storyline to go with it, but it's a really good title.
No, like I said, it's
Oh,
based
no,
on a
no,
novel,
it's
I'm
got a
sure the novel
storyline.
is so much better than what's
Yeah, I
been
need to
put
go
on
and check
screen.
into that because it doesn't, and I get it. No, I'm all up for not necessarily explaining everything because, not talking
We
down
know
to
we
the
listen
audience
to you every week.
because some shows really do talk down to their audience and have to hold their hand and explain everything. And I'm fine with that, but
Yeah.
certain things in that show could have done with some sort of explanation or a little bit of. I mean, you did get the big reveal with to do with the couch, but and that sort of bit, and it kind of, but I think it tried. I need to check out the book now because I want to know if the book, how much of the, for lack of a better term, I'm going to call it the Lynchian side of it, the sort of David Lynch side of it, where it's trying to be weird, or actually more Cronenberg in some scenes.
Yeah.
For definite, but I wonder how much of that is in the book and how much of that was that the director of the series like adding that in to be, because obviously it's quite a weird story anyway, but did they just go for weird? And I like the end. The ending made sense, but they just didn't. Yeah,
And there's
like you
nothing
say,
wrong with
by,
the
by,
ending,
by
but
that by that point, like you say, you didn't really care,
No.
and almost like I forget the guy's name now. The dude that was in Lost, the TV producer guy, who screws her over, the film producer guy who screws her over. He ends up almost being the most sympathetic character.
Yeah,
and he
absolutely.
was
You're supposed
and
to
he
not
was
like
the
him.
bag of shit all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a man
Was
thing.
it Stephen J. Canal?
No, not that legend. And no, it's played well. Everyone acted it well. I've forgotten. Is it Catherine Keener from the 40-Year-Old Virgin who plays
Yeah.
the
The
what's her
witch.
face? The witch lady.
Borrow.
I mean, she's really good in it. She definitely. There's no sympathy for her. She's just cold and calculating all the way through it. But did it do what it wanted to do? Was it weird for weird's sake, or
That's my
was
opinion.
they?
It
Yeah.
was just trying too much to be weird without, and like you said, I prefer not to have everything hand fed, but in the same token, give people something to go on. A lot of the weird shit, you're just not really actually given it. It's just there for the sake of it. You're not given any, like even the soup, not the soup, the stew. You got to eat the stew. Give a bit more of the I don't know, not even the history behind it, but what it's there to do. The tadpole, with the mixing up all this, all of that sort of stuff. So you've got about 5 or 6 different things she's got to do.
And the cats, the cats.
Yeah.
Can we explain the cats? I'm
Yeah.
not going to go any further with that for anyone who's not seen it, but there's a lot of cats in it.
Yeah.
And there's clearly a meaning to it, but you didn't really kind of tell us. I would say it is probably worth a watch if you're looking for a series to bang. It's only 8 episodes, and they're only some of them about 20 minutes, half hour. Some of them are a bit longer. So they do
as an independent bystander, I'm getting mixed feelings. I'm getting mixed signals between Damien and Brett. From Damien's perspective, I don't want to watch this. From Brett, it's like maybe watch it, but you're not going to be happy. So why would I watch it? That's
pretty much it.
Yeah, I would say that.
There'll be people out there that absolutely loved it and may well spend donkey's years talking about it on the internet. But for me, it was like I said, you don't actually care.
I enjoyed it till the end, and then when it just finished, I was like, I get what you've done, but there's too many threads hanging. They needed to go back. They needed to put more meat on the bones.
Gave up. Well, not gave up. I watched it all, but I got to about episode 5, and it was I'm now only watching this for the sake of it to get to the end to see if.
Well, I was
how
a
it
bit like that.
develops.
Then I got really excited when the guy from Mulholland Drive turned up. I just feel like the third act fell down and sort of pulled it down a little bit more when it could have gone a lot higher and been a lot more. It could have been one of those shows. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, did you see that?" And instead it was like, it's sort of
Yeah.
like that to me. Yeah, bit of a letdown at the
I
end.
just think most of the characters were kind of almost like one-dimensional. It's like producer.
But I
he's
wonder
a
if that
producer,
was on.
he's on his
Yeah, but I
uppers.
wonder if that was on purpose. Were we supposed to? Is that the message? Is it like we're not supposed to like anyone in Hollywood because everyone's an arsehole? Even the hero was kind of not necessarily a nice person. Is that what
Maybe,
they were?
but there's better ways of doing that. But it's not about. I don't
That's
mean
what
they're
I'm saying, though. But
one-dimensional
you
as in
didn't
characters you don't like. What I mean is that they weren't developed as characters.
cookie cutters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I get that. That's what I say. I think that's why we ended up feeling a bit more for the producer dude, because we actually got a
Yeah.
lot more about him. So you're like, oh, well, I hope he's all right. Oh, I won't say what happened to him, but yeah, but he's
Felt
he's
more
not
sorry
well
for
in
his son.
hospital. No, he deserved it. But yeah, so yeah, I watched that. Just trying to think what else I've been watching. That's been the main thing, really. Oh, and Harley Quinn is now concluded in the UK, and yeah, very interesting ending. Good couple of episodes. Again, quite dark, quite adult, and but probably more honest to the characters than most of the other stuff that's been thrown at us from the DC extended universe and Zack Snyder. What about yourself?
So we've just talked about whatever it was called. I've written Red Cherry. That's not what it's called, but
Brand
was
new
it called?
cherry flavor.
Dust Badger. I finally got around to finishing Big Sky, which has popped up quite a number of weeks since
I
we've
still
been
want to
doing
watch
this.
that. I still want to watch it.
Yeah, well,
Oh, okay.
it's obviously. Well, no, it's finished. It's finished now, and so that means you can watch it, in chunks rather than what we were doing, which was getting annoying. But there's a lot of episodes. I don't remember. I'm not sure exactly how many, but I think it's
not like
it's
it hasn't gone back to
15.
the old like 23 episodes, is it? Or ever like
I don't
like
think it's far. Yeah, it's not far from that, but and I think that's just too many. There's a lot of padding in it, and like I said before.
Oh yeah, 16.
Yeah,
16.
so
I just double check.
I thought it had finished at something like episode 12, because that final not that final episode, but that episode 12 ended like the end of the series. You thought, okay, that's going to continue in season 2, but it didn't. It then went on for another 4 episodes where it changed storyline almost completely, and what you'd been watching for the previous 12 episodes had gone into the background. Now it does resolve both of those storylines to some extent in the final episode, but it's just too much padding. But that being said, it's good. It's worth a watch. The performances are pretty decent. They've put a few threads in there that will pick up in season 2, no doubt. So if you like, almost it's not procedural because it's only following 2 storylines. But I think I've said this before. It's one of those where you know what's happening, and the protagonists don't. So you're seeing 2 sides of the story unfold.
Well,
not
the dramatic irony.
Yeah, so it's not a whodunit or anything like that. You're seeing it all unfold as it happens, and then watching them investigate. But yeah, it's decent. It's got a second season, so it's obviously done well, and it's it's shot well. And the only other thing I've watched is Outer Banks. Again, finished season 2 of that. I've mentioned it a lot of times this last couple of weeks. It's like Goonies, but for teenagers. There are a bunch of 30-somethings playing 16, 17-year-olds in true American style. But again, similar to what I've just said about Big Sky, it follows a particular storyline, and then midway through season 2, that kind of ends and it starts a new one, and that's going to continue in season 3 if there is one. Probably will be, because I think it's doing pretty well. But to talk about it gives everything away, so I'm not going to talk about it. Just it's a pretty decent series. It's worth a watch if you like kind of
What can we watch
adventure
that
you
on?
can just. It's on Netflix, and it's one of those you can just sit and watch without having to think. You don't have to think at all. There's no mystery.
You don't need
There's
a
no
notebook.
no, exactly. You can just sit and watch it episode by episode and go, oh, I think I know what's going to happen next. And 9 times out of 10 it does. So that's what I've been watching. I'm sure there's some Marvel nonsense that's going on. I'm surprisingly you two have watched it.
Marvel
watched
Marvel
it,
nonsense,
and I
Damien.
forgot I have watched it. I watch a lot of stuff in the week. Some of it more relevant than others. Some of it may be on an island and about love. Some of it may be about superheroes with capes. Some of it might be similar. We'll find out. But yeah, Marvel's What If episode 2, and it was What If T'Challa became Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Amazing episode. A huge step up on episode 1, which was the Captain Carter becoming basically like the first Avenger. Basically, she becomes Captain America. This is a lot better and made up as well because they pretty much had most of the cast back doing the voices of the characters in the cartoon. And it would actually be Chadwick Boseman's last appearance as the Black Panther now.
And that was a weird thing, wasn't it? You know, all the conversations, all the tweets, all the Twitter stuff, all the reviews, or whatever. It was like, you know, he wanted to do this what if stuff, and there was, I mean, let's be honest. At the time in his life, that must have been difficult for him, similar to some of the late stages in the movie. But he chose to do this to have a positive impact on kids.
Okay,
basically.
hang on. I'm probably going to regret asking this question. I've already started to regret it, even now I've just started the question. However, I'm going to carry on. For those of us out there that may not know what was it called?
What
if is in a short, like,
yeah,
10 seconds
okay,
at
no,
least. Could you explain what
you're on about what if as opposed to
he's about just the concept in general, I think.
Not the guy that died.
No, the idea behind the what if thing, it was a long, we talked about this last episode, I think, but it was a long running comic series where they would just change a key point or a key plot detail of a particular comic event, so what if, Captain America went in that door and not in that door that time? Would it have changed? And you see the results of what's going on. And with Marvel now introducing, since the Loki series, they're introducing the new multiverse now, because the universe is screwed now, and this is going to play out across the new films and TV shows and whatever else they do. This is kind of introducing this multiverse concept, and what they're doing is taking key points from all the different films and just turning it on its head again. Well, what if that happened to that person, or what if that happened then, or what if they did it and not that person?
I get it. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but no, it's a great episode. It really goes into the sort of Marvel lore of the characters, and it uncovers a lot of stones of what would have happened, and the sort of the stone dropping in the pond and the ripple effect of that. Mostly, if you like Guardians of the Galaxy and Black Panther, most of your favourites are going to appear. Howard the Duck even turns up, so you can't mind about that. And so the series is worth a watch. Again, I think it was a stronger episode than the first episode. I think it's going to be one of those series where different episodes appeal to different people, but that one was really good. And if they can keep that standard up, it should be a great series.
Cool. I probably won't watch it, but thanks for that. That takes us nicely to the news. News desk.
The news.
News items.
So first up in the news, Netflix have announced date for Jaguar. Brett, tell us what this is.
Jaguar is Netflix's new series. Well, when we say new series, it normally means that they've taken a series from another country and put it on Netflix. But it's set in 1960s Spain, where a Holocaust survivor joins a group of agents seeking justice against the hundreds of Nazis who fled after World War II. Netflix have announced it will be arriving on September the 22nd. But basically, you've got a gang of sort of Nazi hunters looking for Nazis, really.
As
Not-
Nazi
That's
hunters
what
do.
they do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you can't
it
stop
looks
them.
it looks a bit gritty. It looks a bit dark. Obviously, it looks
What-
very sort of 1960s as well. They've gone for that, you know, that they've, and it stars Blanca Suarez, who was known apparently for Cable Girls. I don't know what that is, but yeah, they are on the lookout and they are not happy, and it's coming soon to Netflix.
So, what was the thing with Al Pacino? I
Nazi
thought it was-
hunters.
Yeah. Didn't he do something similar?
I
But
never actually watched it, so I don't know. But that looked more.
That was more modern era. And
No, that's not what I was
not.
going to say. It looked more comical. That's only by the trailer.
Oh, it's not. It's not. No, I wouldn't say. Right.
I haven't watched it, so I don't know. But it didn't look as serious as this. But as I say, I haven't watched it, so
I'm just
I don't
saying
know.
comical is probably the wrong term. Are there funny bits in it? Yeah. This, I struggled with it. I didn't know what this was. It's a hard one to gauge, as we said many times tonight. Already.
It's a show set in 1960 Spain, where a Holocaust survivor joins a group of agents seeking justice against hundreds of Nazis who fled to the nation after World War II. That's what it is.
Yeah, no, but when you watch the trailer, it's like you didn't really get. Do I really want to watch this or not?
Well, it's like a lot of things like to do with that subject matter, isn't it? It kind of, do you want to? It normally ends up quite. You get drawn into it, and it gets quite deep and quite. It appeals, but it appeals in that weird way. Same as like, you know, Schindler's List. Would I watch that out of choice? No, but it's a good thing. And a lot of the subject matter on this is also hard because of obviously what it does involve. I mean, I don't know that much about it apart from what we got, but I'm guessing it picks up from around the end of the old Operation Paperclip, where they tried to get all the useful sort of Nazi scientists out and things like that, and
Well, that's
whoever
what I
else
was gonna
escapes.
say.
Yeah,
It doesn't give you. Obviously, it's only a short clip anyway, but it doesn't tell you whether it goes into the ones that were kind of given safe passage, and that's what they're doing, or is it literally they're just hunting down the ones that hid, as opposed to the ones that were welcomed,
reassigned.
reassigned, yeah.
Repatriated, sorry, repatriated.
Because that isn't something you see a lot of that in History Channel documentaries and stuff like that, but you don't necessarily see that portrayed in drama. Probably more like because it's something people want to forget. But
Yeah,
it looked a bit more style over substance, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know, with the hoods over their heads and stuff like that, which obviously isn't part of the actual. Well, we're assuming it's not part of the actual show itself. That's specifically for the trailer, I'd imagine. I can't imagine that there'd be people sat in a restaurant with hoods over their heads. But you never know. It's 1960s Spain.
We've
Who
all
knows?
been there.
Yeah.
it's not 1960s America, but
Anyway, so that's Jaguar. Next up in the news, we've got Motherland season 3 has been announced.
So this is the announcement that Motherland Fort Salem has now got a third and final season, which makes it even more interesting to me now. This is the American reimagining of history involving the witches, etc., going from the sort of times of Salem up till now, where they're actually part of the American Armed Forces. Season 1 was really, really good, actually. I was a bit dubious when I watched it, but got drawn in. Season 2, I still have to watch. And I do recommend it if you haven't seen it. And the fact that there is a season 3 and the fact that it's been announced that it's the final season, I think also has a lot of appeal to me because it shows where I think the story's going. They've actually written a story and they're going to do it. They're not just going to pad this out for the sake of it. I think there's a set story. They're delivering it. And yeah, and hopefully it should pay off. But season 1 is highly recommended.
Yeah, I've not, to be honest, even in the clips and this, I mean, I think we talked about it a couple of weeks back. I've not really seen anything that makes me want to watch it, but you might have turned me. Yeah, that's all right. You might have turned me a little bit with what you've just said. I might give it a go. What's it on? Netflix.
BBC in the UK. I think it's on.
Oh, it's on iPlayer.
It's on
isn't
like
it?
BBC. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's on BBC Two at about like stupid o'clock in the morning. You know, like they do. They get a big show and then put it on at like 12:30 or 1:45 at night. But if you look on iPlayer, I think they're all on there. I've got them all recorded anyway.
Cool.
So yeah, no, give it a watch. It's good. I mean, again, you do have to think a little bit, but not. It's not. You know, you're probably going to work out half the stuff before they do. But it's.
I don't mind thinking. I can do thinking.
But it doesn't feed you it. But it is. They're also not. You know, it's not. Yeah, it's not like too deep that you're going to be confused. I mean, again, and it is very much a bit like the CW Arrowverse, where there is some cool stuff, but not many people often have a hair at a place, and everyone came out of a fashion catalogue. But yeah, so Fort Salem season 3 has been announced today, and it will be the final season, apparently.
Okay, so we've got a new Apple series coming our way, or a new series on Apple, I probably should say. That makes more sense. Not a new Apple series, that'd be boring. Here's an Apple. Here's another one. Here's an Apple TV series coming our way called Foundation.
Yeah, and they've done a new trailer for it, and it is based on the award-winning novels by Isaac Asimov and chronicles a band of exiles on their monumental journey to save humanity and rebuild civilization amid the fall of the Galactic Empire. Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't get me. It doesn't get me. I'll probably end up watching it.
What? Okay.
Here we go. Strap in.
I'm strapping in.
Seatbelts
on.
He's read the book, isn't he?
Turbines to speed.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Yeah. No, there's a couple of things here. So, Foundation series, first of all, if you're into sci-fi, these are the books that you read, which is cool, Brett. If you're not into this series, not getting it for you. However, you know, you know, when you're looking at June, that's also coming out this year or next year, early next year. These are the big things that you're waiting for. And I have my reservations about what they're going to do with this series. Don't get me wrong, but from what I've seen, it looks like a good interpretation. It looks like they spent a lot of money on it, which is always a positive, as opposed to just some cheap wannabe attempt to bring this to life. But yeah,
I spent a lot of money on Waterworld. That it doesn't
too much.
Really, yeah.
Wait, and that's become the TV series as well, apparently.
I really liked Waterworld.
I knew you were going to say that.
I really did.
That's because you love Kevin Costner.
I do like Kevin Costner. I'll be honest. You know, he's like a Tom Hanks to me. You know, so I saw him in Dance with Wolves. You know,
I thought you were going to say you saw with Debenhams or something then.
No, it's that whole Dance with Wolves thing. Shumani Tatanka Obaji or Tatanka or Rajni Elio.
Buffalo.
Yeah, Tatanka. Buffalo. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
I learned that from the WWF, and I didn't have to sit there for 3 hours and watch it.
Tatanka. Yeah.
They just ripped off Enemy Mine.
In some ways, yes. However, what film were we actually talking about in this?
We're talking about the TV series Foundation that's coming to Apple.
Right. Okay, so Foundation. Okay, it's got a lot of history. Okay, so if they mess it up, yeah, it's going to be quite obvious. But as a complete fan of the books and the novels, I've been longing for this. Do I think they're going to pull it off completely? I don't know. It's a tough one. And again, it's going to be one of these things. Are they going for the long picture of we've got an idea for 7 series, or we're just going to cram it into...
That's the vibe I get off it. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be rubbish. I'm just like, do I need to sit there for like...
Yeah.
15 hours straight an episode. That's what it'll feel like.
I think a lot of it, and we've talked about this before with like our conversations on Marvel and the long game. What's their long game for this? Is it 3 series? Is it 1 series? Is it 10 series and like a spin-off? Because Foundation has many other books and series that tie into it. What's their end game for this? Is it a couple of series? Fine. Or and you hopefully we get more knowledge of that. But at the moment, from the trailers, I think they've done a sterling job. They're going to do a good job of this.
From my perspective, I can't be doing with it. I've had enough of sci-fi sagas. I haven't got the mental capacity to deal with something that I'm going to probably have to watch the entire season of, and then it's going to pick up in season 2 when you're going to have to remember everything that happened in season 1. Otherwise, season 2 is not going to make any sense. I can't be doing that, so it's not going to happen.
Did you just say you've had enough of sci-fi sagas?
Yes, it's exactly what I just said.
Yeah, the long drawn out. Yeah, I know what you mean. There we go. Stunned to silence.
Yeah. I don't know why you find that so shocking.
Well, we're running out of things that are there for you. We know that the adult cartoons, you're not there. I'm not there either. The sci-fi things now, they're off.
He likes sci-fi, just not the long drawn out sagas. That's what he's saying.
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be something that happens in season 2, and you'll have to remember what happened at 45 minutes into episode 4 of season 1. Otherwise, none of it's going to make any sense to you. I can't be doing with that. I just don't remember.
Chowderhead.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move on.
Ooh.
No. I'm just saying. I thought we were going to get to a point where
we've hit a nerve. We've hit a nerve.
No, it's just.
We've just dissed his favorite book. We've hit a nerve.
No, it's not my favorite book. But otherwise, we can't talk about sci-fi. We can't talk about adult cartoons.
I'm not stopping you talking about it.
We're still talking about adult cartoons, and we'll have one coming up in a minute.
Yeah, but I'm just saying let's move on.
No, I don't want to move on. I want to carry on talking about Foundation.
Well, do you want to talk about Foundation?
I just don't think it's going to be as good as Babylon 5 was.
Yeah, it's no Battlestar Galactica.
It's completely different. I mean, and you know it is. Or if you don't know it is, then you need to take back that statement. Jesus Christ, Babylon 5 is nothing like Battlestar Galactica.
Trekkie nerd.
Oh, it's not. Don't even fucking. What you said, Trekkie nerd. It's nothing to fucking do with Star Trek, is it? You know that, you prick. Why would you say that? Why would you even say that? What?
Maybe it is time to move on. I'll make it so. So next up in the news, it's been announced that there's going to be a Beverly Hills Cop 4. I genuinely cannot contain my excitement. But please do elaborate for us, Brett.
Yeah, this links into the new Zack Snyder Rebel Moon project as well, both of which have been greenlit by Netflix. Again, this is them. I think they've greenlit 23 different films and projects at the moment, but the two of the ones that have currently been identified and named are, Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon and Eddie Murphy back as Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop 4. Do we need a fourth?
We didn't need a third. I don't think, from memory, I don't think the second was too bad.
I liked 2. I can remember liking 2.
Yeah, that's why I don't think I disliked it. But
and I remember Beverly Hills Cop 3, I think, was where he was jumping around like a roller coaster
yeah,
ride.
Say, that's the fairground one, isn't it?
And it clearly wasn't him at all doing any of that, and they didn't really even try and hide that much. So these are, but again, it's another example. Netflix, we've talked about the streamers chucking money at projects and stuff now, and apparently 9 of the 23 projects that they've given the green light to, again, we only know 2 of them at the moment, have got a budget of 10 million or under, but I'm guessing Eddie Murphy and Zack Snyder, that's probably their signing on fee. So I imagine there'll be a bit more than that.
No one needs this. No one needs it. No one wants it.
I'm trying to find a way of disagreeing with you, and it's just not possible.
I know.
I mean, even if you take away the whole Beverly Hills Cop thing, buddy cop movies just don't draw the audience like they used to, unless I'm missing something. But when was the last decent buddy cop film? You're talking
Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah, probably right.
Lethal Weapon 3 was all right.
I know Bad Boys was after Lethal Weapon 2, wasn't it?
Oh no, sorry, 3 was. Yeah,
Bad
I never
Boys 2
liked
was
any
okay.
of the Bad Boys films, apart from the one with Sean Penn in.
Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 2 were okay. The last one was.
They were
wasn't
awful.
great. No, they were good at what they were about.
What they were trying to achieve. Yeah, exactly. They're not. This popcorn bubble.
I'm not saying.
So it's Paw Patrol movie.
No, that's just genuinely terrible.
There's a Paw Patrol movie.
Yeah. Yes. I think it's made more money than Bad Boys.
Okay, so that's. And what was the other one? Zack Snyder's got some nonsense coming out as
well.
Yeah,
that's what I say. As Red Dawn's all part of the same Netflix chucking money at people to make movies.
He's doing some sort of sci-fi.
Yeah, saga. he's got a big. Apparently, it was originally that was some sort of Star Wars spin-off, which he's now took to his own thing.
Oh, great!
On Netflix. No, I think that was it. Started. That's how it developed, and now it's become. I think they're like, we don't want it, and now he's just sort of turned it into his own thing.
We're going to have a 5-hour-long monochrome Star Wars knockoff, basically.
No, but there's not much info on this, is there at the moment, Brett?
No, it's in development. They're both in development at the moment. But the original script he has said was going to be his Star Wars film or something. But now it's now he's turned it into its own thing.
Maybe we'll get lucky and it will stay in development hell.
If Snyder has something, or he has a storyline that he can pull out and a good budget that goes with it, fair play to him. But we have no idea what that is at the moment. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Anyway,
okay,
let's not go back down Zack Snyder's route.
No, let's not go there.
Doesn't sound a nice place to be.
No, it doesn't, does it? Okay, and finally, in our news section, it's the death of Sonny Chiba.
Sonny Chiba, the legendary Japanese actor Sonny Chiba passed away at the age of 82 years old from a COVID-related illness. The sad news was broken by his agent. Chiba done hundreds of millions of films. He was known as for his role as Takumi Tsuragi in the Street Fighter series of films. And my personal favourites, he did the Hanzo the Razor trilogy, Hanzo the Razor Sword of Justice, Hanzo Razor the Snare, and then Hanzo the Razor who's got the gold, where he plays the deadly fighter through those films. They were in the sort of mid-70s. And then what was even cooler is decades later he appeared in Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill movies as Hattori Hanzo, and was the guy that made the sword for Uma Thurman. Done many good films, loads of stuff that you've probably seen him in and not even realised. He was even, although I'm trying to think of some of the Western films he'd done, Iron Eagle 3 was one of them. The Kill Bill films, Battle Royale 2. He had a long career in a lot of stuff. And it all started back in 1959. He was still pretty much working up until he passed away. So Sonny Chiba, Japanese legend, now no longer with us. Drop zone.
Drop zone.
So first up in the drop zone, we've got Teenage Euthanasia. Brett, do you want to give us the lowdown on Teenage Euthanasia?
Yeah, right. Teenage Euthanasia, it premieres on September the 19th. At midnight on Adult Swim in America, and it is set in the mildly apocalyptic near future in inland Florida, and centers around the fantasy family and their inland Florida funeral home tender endings. The cast of characters include the recently undead Trophy Fantasy, voiced by Maria Bamford, her teenage daughter Euthanasia Annie Fantasy, voiced by Joe Firestone, Annie's Oedipus complex-stricken Uncle Pete, voiced by Tim Robinson, and Annie's old country immigrant grandmother, Baba, voiced by Baby Newworth, or Bede Newworth, how you want to say it, from If You Mad a Frasier. Yeah. And the quote was, "As a teen mum, Trophy ran away from home, leaving Annie behind to be raised by her Baba and Uncle Peter. 15 years later, Trophy finally returns to tender endings as a corpse for a burial. But when a bolt of lightning strikes Baba's homemade embalming fluid, and one of Annie's tears magically mixes with it and brings Trophy back from the dead. Trophy finds herself a resurrected woman with a second chance at unplanned parenthood and a variety of quasi-useful death powers. It's an animated fantasy resurrection. What do we think?"
Oh. It's not happening for me. Adult cartoon.
I'm
Much
with
better off
Damien.
without it. Don't care.
No, it's a no from me.
Yeah, and I'll give it a watch and see what it's like. Reminds me a bit of what's the dog called? That's satanic.
Cujo.
No, Mr. Pickles. Mr. Pickles. It reminds me a bit of Mr. Pickles. If you've not seen that, I think you'd like that one, Damien.
Is it a cartoon?
It is a cartoon, but I think you'd like.
Then I won't like it.
I think you might if you just gave it a try. But anyway, okay.
I'm not interested in giving this one a try unless you tell me otherwise.
Yeah, we'll leave that to our resident cartoon expert, and then you can come back and tell us whether we should watch it or not. I'll more than likely ignore whatever you say, but let's keep an open mind.
As would I.
Cool. Okay. Next up, in the drop zone, Escape from Area 51. Now, no, let's just go straight for the spiel. I don't want to pass judgment until we've heard the spiel.
Directed by Eric Mittelman, Escape from Area 51 stars Donna Derrico, Chris Browning, Anouk Samuel, Chloe Arman, Caleb Thomas, and Zeke Jones. When conspiracy theorists raid the familiar military base, Area 51, no one gets in, but someone gets out. Shira, a sexy alien warrior who uses a power glitch to escape from captivity. Her escape, using a portal gun, sets off an energy signature which attracts the attention of her arch rival, Sklar. Now she must elude Jill, an Area 51 scientist, and Sklar to rescue Kira, her fellow warrior, and find her way home. It comes from Cleopatra Entertainment and will be out on August the 31st. Damien.
Out on what exactly?
Everything. Video on demand, DVD, and Blu-ray. Oh, no, sorry. Okay. I stand corrected. Video on demand, August 31st. DVD, Blu-ray, September 7th.
Does not get a theatrical release then?
Doesn't appear to.
Can't say I'm surprised by that. I mean, it looks like it's been shot in the same way as and using the same equipment as Dino Fury. It's got that look and feel to it. Yeah. But I do have a positive, and I did like the music.
Yeah, I mean, I was the same. I mean, it is, don't go into this expecting
Sharknado.
Even Sharknado. Yeah, you're not going to get any groundbreaking new interpretation of science fiction cinema. And when the star is like someone who was in Baywatch for sort of a little while, it's you can see where the bar's been set, shall we say? Yeah, it's not very high. I think it's one of those, if it's 11 o'clock at night and you've had a few beers, this might be a great film. If it's not, it might not be. but to be fair to her, I mean, she did make Baywatch Nights as well. And I might be wrong. She was... Oh, no, she got a cameo in Goldmember. Austin Powers Goldmember as well. Just
So
trying to
some serious credentials there then.
yeah, serious. Married with Children. Did an episode of that back in the day. Well, and she was married to Nikki Sixx for quite a long time. So yeah, she's she's earned her fame. And
So that's one to watch out for.
yeah,
like
that's
you
one
say,
to watch out for in the
when
South
you've,
Bend. But I'm
when
sure.
you've
I think
had a few.
it's probably a fun movie. It's probably a fun. Don't go in expecting anything else much more than that.
Okay, so that takes us on to Martyr.
Yeah.
Martyr something.
Martyr
Martyr's
Lane.
Lane. There we go. That takes
Martyr's
us on
Lane.
to Martyr's Lane.
Written and directed by Ruth Platt, Martyr's Lane is an unsettling ghost story which follows 10-year-old Leah, who lives in a large old house with her family, but can't quite work out why her mother seems so distant. At night, she is visited by a mysterious guest who might be able to give her some answers. With a new challenge every night, Leah is rewarded with bits of knowledge that, when pieced together, threaten to shine a dangerous light on both the truth in her nightmares and the world she lives in. It premieres on Shudder on September the 9th and stars Denise Gough, Anastasia Hill, and Stephen Cree. I'm liking this. There's definitely some weird horror stuff going on. I don't think it's falling down the path of what most stuff's doing at the moment, in that kind of almost where it's still a slasher horror, but it's not. They're trying to dress it up to be a bit more than it is. This does look like there's an actual storyline to the horror, and I'm up for that.
Yep, I agree. You've got creepy kid, dead baby animals, forest stroke woods, night visits at the window. What's not to like? I might even set up the screen out here in the bar, wait till about midnight, and then put it on. Get a full
special midnight screen.
Yeah, midnight screening in the bar and watch it that way. I mean, that's what I did with that that thing. Oh, I've forgotten what it's called now.
Psycho Gorman.
No, not Psycho Gorman. The rabbit thing that they.
Oh yeah, I know.
It was a Shudder original, and I was disappointed. But hopefully this will do a better job of scaring the shit out of me, especially in the pub at night. So yeah, I'm up for it. Hopefully it's like I say, it's got all the elements, isn't it? It's English, British, whatever. So horror in England tends to, or ghost stories I should say, tend to come across well when they're filmed in the UK, more so than in the States. Just my opinion, obviously, but I just tend to feel we kind of do that creepy stuff better.
Yeah, we get the storyline horror sort of more. Yeah, I think we invest in more than that, whereas I think a lot of the sort of North American audience prefer these sort of splatter gore.
Yeah, exactly.
Chainsaw through the head horror, maybe. Not all of them before everyone emails in, but in general.
Yeah. So that will be worth a watch. And that is our last. No, it's not our last thing in the drop zone.
We got one more.
We've got one more, and that is.
You're excited about it.
Some Spider-Man nonsense. Let me finish. It is Spider-Man No Way Home.
That's the one.
Now,
and
before you go any further, I thought there was something very recently, which was Spider-Man something. Is that not? Was that? What was that?
There was a Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay, that's probably
the one. That was the animation. That was the animated film. And I think this one is kind of trying to do elements of that, because again, it's the Marvel dealing with this multiverse thing now, where different possibilities and all that. So everyone is really going on and excited about this film because it's. But I think fan expectation is going through the roof, and this will be the one where everyone moans because it wasn't the film they thought it was going to be. I mean, there are rumors at the moment. There's nothing in the trailer, but there are rumors at the moment that both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, who played Spider-Man in the previous films over the years, are going to turn up as Spider-Man because
I don't think
it's a
anyone really
multiverse.
cares about that.
Oh no, they're on them. Everyone wants a free Spider-Man
Yeah, I know, but so
team and
what?
all that. And I'm up for doing that. But if you do that, you need to bring in Nicholas Hammond from the TV series as well. You know, if you're going to do it properly. Get all the people in. But it's one of those things. They're all saying it's going to happen because there's been leaked photos that don't look photoshopped at all,
Yeah.
and different things. And you know, they've got the villains in from the different films. You can see that in here. In the trailer, you can hear a bit of William Dafoe. Alfred Molina's back as Dr. Octopus.
That's clearly
Electro's
in the
back
trailer.
again. Yeah, so I mean that's all in this teaser trailer. And well, as it says, it's got for the first time in the cinematic history of Spider-Man, our friendly neighborhood hero is unmasked and no longer able to separate his normal life from the high stakes of being a superhero. When he asks for help from Doctor Strange, the stakes become even more dangerous, forcing him to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man. And that drops on December the 17th. And obviously it's going to make buckets of cash. But I just hope they do the story right because, again, this is one of those ones where fan expectation is going through the roof and they're coming out with all these things and all these people that are apparently in it and all these. There's a lot of reaching going on around this trailer if you look on Twitter. But what does everyone else think?
Well, let's face it. When you look at the trailer, a lot of it is Doctor Strange. You help me make it that my friends don't know I'm Spider-Man. It's like, well, really? So he's gonna like change the whole universe, or he's gonna?
He is the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean. So he's gonna change. He's gonna change the whole timeline because, he doesn't want people to know he's Spider-Man. I mean, Jesus Christ.
He's not in it, I don't think.
No, he's not.
Well, to be fair, the way you talk about this, what was his name? Not Mr. Magic Man, whatever you just called him.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. The way you talk about him, he does sound a bit Jesus-like if he has.
Yeah, but he should
It is Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, and he should have absolutely said right then, no, don't be stupid. Just get on with it. I mean,
That'd be a very short film, I'd imagine.
Yeah, no, but this my whole point about this film is like get on with it. Just grow up.
I think it's more that like people are trying to kill his family and friends and stuff, and it's become.
Isn't that what happens in most superhero films? Someone's trying to kill someone else. So
yeah, but what happened at the end of the last one? See, the last one is that Mysterio revealed to the whole world that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, but the whole world think Mysterio's a hero, but he wasn't. He was the villain. And he said that Peter Parker, who was Spider-Man, killed him, so he's getting the blame for that as well. Yeah, so he's kind of on the back foot.
It's not really much of a film, though, is it?
Ooh, you've missed the main bit. What do you think, Dave?
Well, I don't think you'll be surprised to know that I'd not even bothered to watch the trailer.
Well, he's not got a cape, though.
Yeah, but spandex, isn't it?
He doesn't have a cape.
Doctor Strange is wearing a hoodie and a cloak. How's that?
Yeah, it's all the same nonsense. And my mum used to say, if you've got nothing to say nice, then don't say anything at all. Actually, that's not true. She would have probably said, give them both barrels and don't stop until they cry. But I'm not going to do that. I don't care. I genuinely don't care one way or the other whether there's another Spider-Man film.
But this will be. This will be the internet uproar again because they didn't do it like everyone imagined it. You know, like everyone's got this. Oh, it's a multiverse, so that character in it, he's going to come in from that film, and it's all crossing. Bit like the old DC when they done the Crisis on Infinite Earths, or they haven't got to that bit yet, have you?
No, I gave up. Given up. Can't be doing with it.
But I think fan expectation is going through the roof, and I don't think anyone will be happy because whatever they've done will be wrong, and that didn't happen. And it's going to be one of those, a bit like the last Star Wars film, where then everyone hates it and turns on it because like they did it wrong. So no, they've done it. That's what they were always going to do. You built up in your own head to be something else, or went on about it on Twitter for 2 years before it came out. It's going to be one of those sort of things. I think that's going to be
It's Spider-Man Marvel.
Yes.
So it's Marvel's IP. They can do what they like with it. So
exactly.
that's just a teaser trailer, is it? So we've
the
got
teaser trailer.
A full-blown theatrical release trailer to come at some point soon, which we can discuss at great length in another show in a drop zone, no doubt. Which is something for everyone to look forward to. I can't wait.
You love it.
On that note, I think it's probably time we wrapped up. So don't forget to rate and review us on your preferred podcast app. And here's a bonus for you. For a chance to win Cape Fear, the 30th anniversary Blu-ray edition in association with Fabulous Films, browse your way to cultfaction.com and you'll see all the details there. In the meantime, we'll see you next week. Or you'll hear us next week, I guess. That makes more sense. So it's goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Superman.
I know one 14-year-old listener.
Bunch of fucking amateurs. Pray silence.
Hi, I'm Chris Talent on TV.
I've been to the Merkin. That was quite nice.
Wait, whoa! Fuck's sake. Do we need to fucking hear that? Well, you're not the one that sits here for 3 fucking hours and edits things out and puts things back in, so fuck's sake.
Now imagine if we were on tour in a rock band.
Right. I'm ready to go. Let's do this thing. I just said this.
One more time and I'm hanging up. And I'll piss myself. I'm waiting for you two fuckers to shut the fuck up.
I'm into the hippie bum stuff.
Yeah.
Boom.
Superman.
Another reason why we need headphones.
Wanna.